Como was the setting for the start of the Giro di Lombardia, the fifth and final monument of the season, bringing the curtain down on 2023 on a bike. The stars were in town, a tremendous start list, a goodbye to Thibaut Pinot, his last ever race as a professional, with plenty of fans having made the journey from France to make sure they were there to cheer him on. 238 kilometres on the route, 7 climbs to take on, a huge undertaking. 4,400 metres of climbing and finishing in Bergamo, where 2 years previous, Tadej Pogačar had won the Giro di Lombardia on his debut. He won last year too, and this time was aiming for a hat-trick, but Evenepoel was there, as was Roglič, and that is what they were taking on. It was quite the start. Flag waved and a huge battle just to be in the breakaway. Thomas de Gent, one of the early actors. Despite him animating things, there were worries for Remco Evenepoel. Crashing just 21 kilometres into the race, there was a doubt as to whether he'd continue, but he did. He looked okay, and his team were in the game. 16 riders would eventually get up the road, and they take a maximum advantage of around 4.5 minutes. Enric Mas was the first big casualty, with Soudal Quickstep starting to up their game. Ben Healy made a move with Oscar Onley, and with 70 kilometres to go, 40 seconds was the gap on the peloton, with not too many riders left in the break. Marcelluzzi, the last man standing after Onley had also been dropped, and Healy on his own with 40 kilometres to go. His problem was there was so much action too behind. Adam Yates starting the party. Evenepoel distanced here, and he would not see the front of the race again. Roglič was with Yates, Pogačar there as well, Simon Yates in the mix too, and Evenepoel helped by Alaphilippe. Alexander Vlasov in the mix. Woods would chase on, and in the end 6 or 7 of the top bike riders in the planet were up there. Olympic champion Richard Carapaz left behind. Pogačar going over the top and starting to pull out a bit of a gap on the descent from Selvino. He had 15 seconds as he went through the town and started taking on the 19 hairpins where he'd struggled 2 years before. But he grew up to 45 seconds of a gap, but with 12 k's to go, looked like he was starting to get cramp. A drink and a ride back into the rhythm meant that he'd approached the final climb with a minute. That took him up onto the old town and the cobbled streets of Bergamo, and then to the finish straight, where he could celebrate, joining legends. Alfredo Binda, Fausto Coppi, and now Tadej Pogačar, the only riders to win 3 successive Tours of Lombardy. Undefeated in this race, in his 3 appearances now, and only the 3rd rider ever to win the Giro di Lombardia in the same year he won the Tour of Flanders. The fight for the podium was won by Bajoli. He'd finished 2nd. Roglič would end his relationship with Jumbo-Visma, his last ever race for the team, in 3rd. But all the delight, all the joy, all the glory to Tadej Pogačar, beating Bajoli, Roglič, Vlasov, Simon and Adam Yates, with Rodriguez, Carapaz, Evenepoel and Kron in the top 10. The Slovenian national anthem yet again played, and Tadej Pogačar ending the season in fine form. The end of a special career, and all the fans from France on the final race climb, the Curva Pinot, with Thibaut Pinot for one last time, showing that there was plenty of heart despite there being no drama on the last day. The 2023 Monument season is at an end. A couple of stage races and a few one-day events still to come, but Tadej Pogačar took the final big prize.